So what we're going to try and do today is go over just some basic topics for the game. Nothing crazy, but I want to kind of make a series of videos that just kind of simplify the game and hopefully kind of put a new mindset out there for how people play and what they want to play, and just give them a quick way to learn what the hell's going on in this game. You know, for new players who've never really gotten into it at all, or maybe for current players who just love binging content for the game, which I feel like I fall into this category, where I just watch people's videos. I know all this stuff to an extent. You know, I can't say I know everything at all. I'm not even close. I'm a newbie, but I've played the game since day one, and I've just hit a point where even though I love consuming the content, it doesn't even matter. I'll watch new guy stuff, I'll watch endgame stuff. I just enjoy the content for the game, so I'm kind of creating this for a little bit of everyone. So we'll see how it goes. I think the way I'm going to try and do it is in maybe like bursts. So let's see here. So for starters, we want to start talking about brand new characters. You're going to have a few different classes. You know, this is a good versus evil style game. Knights in armor, that kind of thing. So you have your heavy hitter type of character, the barbarian. You have your creepy crawler character, the necromancer. You have your elemental magician, the sorcerer. You have your cloak and dagger style, the rogue. And then you have your nature magic, the druid. You know, a big focus I've seen with the devs in the community, they tend to focus around power fantasy. Everyone calls it power fantasy. And with power fantasy, you have a handful of different options, right? And then with each character, you have a handful of different options. So you might want to play the barbarian, but maybe you want to be really, really fast. That's your power fantasy. You want to be this axe wielding, you know, speed hitting badass. Go for it. Maybe you want to be that same class, but you want to be the heavy hitter guy. Power fantasy. You know, necromancer. You know, people think, you know, summoning the dead. You know, that's the power fantasy. Summon all the creepy crawlies. Maybe using some kind of like crazy dark magic. That's the power fantasy, right? Sorcerer. Same kind of thing. I mean, he's got fire in his hands. That's your power fantasy, right? Do you want to be a fire-wielding master? You know, a deep freeze type of magician? Or do you want thunder and lightning, super badass? Power fantasy. Rogue, it doesn't get much better for the cloak and dagger style character. You want to be fast, you want to shoot someone, you want to stab someone. They have all these cool elemental mixtures that get worked in. They got traps, poisons. It's badass. So Rogue, again, power fantasy, you have options. It's not just, oh, the shooter guy, oh, the fire guy, oh, the creepy guy, oh, the strong guy, right? And then you got druid. I feel like kind of like a mixture of all of the classes. You have your summons, you have your elements, you have your bruiser style, you have your speed style. Druid is the fucking best. I love Druid. New characters, you know, I would say when you're making a new character in this game, make whichever class just appeals to you. That's the advice for sure. When it comes to alt characters, what I like to do is make the same class twice. So it's like I'll have my main guy, I'm doing the story or whatever, and then if I want to make another guy to mess around with, I'll still make the same class. Just so this is kind of like an endgame thing, it's not really a new guy thing. But I like to do it so I can farm the same class, learn different elements of the class, mechanics of the class, farm the same gear towards the class. So that's a big thing for me. There's an ethic and a play style that each class offers, and my suggestion is kind of get used to it before you start jumping from class to class. You unintentionally become biased. Oh, this class is so much slower, and they're not as strong, or that type of thing, and it can be kind of confusing, and you start to think the other class isn't as good. Reality is just you just got used to your guy. So that's kind of my intro for brand new characters, alt characters, the power fantasy.